Some wars are remembered for their generals, some for their battles. But World War II is remembered for its weapons. Weapons so influential, so brutal, and so innovative that they reshaped modern warfare forever. These were the tools that decided the fate of nations and the survival of millions. From the frozen ruins of Stalingrad to the steaming jungles of the Pacific, soldiers carried an arsenal that reflected not only industrial power, but culture, desperation, and sheer human ingenuity. This is the full story of the weapons that defined the deadliest conflict in human history. World War II saw a massive evolution in weaponry, bridging the gap between old world combat and modern mechanized warfare. Yet despite the rise of tanks, machine guns, and explosives, the simplest tools, knives, bayonets, and shovels, remained essential instruments of survival and violence. Knives illustrate this duality better than anything. The American M3 trench knife, developed in 1943, was specifically designed for brutal close combat. Its double-edged blade gave soldiers the ability to engage enemies in narrow trenches, dark buildings, and chaotic night raids. The British Fairbairn-Sykes fighting knife, crafted by legendary instructors William Fairbairn and Eric Sykes, became the signature blade of commandos and special forces. Slim, deadly, and optimized for quick, silent kills, it symbolized the covert nature of Allied clandestine warfare. German paratroopers were issued the Fallschirmjäger gravity knife, originally a tool for cutting parachute lines, but widely used as a utility and combat weapon across the Wehrmacht. Soviet troops, lacking the precision-crafted knives of other nations, frequently relied on rugged improvised blades or utility knives repurposed for combat. Meanwhile, Japanese officers often carried the Type 95 Gunto, a simplified, mass-produced descendant of the samurai katana, a symbol of status, authority, and traditional military spirit. Melee weapons never disappeared from the battlefield. Entrenching tools or folding shovels were routinely used as devastating improvised weapons during close-quarter battles, especially on the Eastern Front, where night raids and trench assaults were common. Bayonets, though used less frequently than in World War I, were still issued to all major armies. Japanese forces, heavily influenced by Bushido ideology, emphasized bayonet training and often launched fierce bayonet charges using their long, intimidating blades mounted on Arisaka rifles. But the war's ultimate lethality came from firearms, from standard rifles to devastating machine guns. The backbone of most armies remained the infantry rifle. The American M1 Garand was revolutionary, a semi-automatic rifle in a world dominated by bolt-action designs. Its ability to fire rapidly without manual cycling gave U.S. soldiers a major advantage in firefights. Germany relied on the Karabiner 98K, a superbly accurate and reliable bolt-action rifle, used at every stage of the war. Britain's Lee Enfield M4 M4 was known for its exceptionally smooth bolt and high rate of cycling, enabling trained soldiers to fire astonishingly fast, mad-minute volleys. The Soviet Mosin Nagant, though crude and simple, performed reliably in mud, snow, and extreme cold, a testament to its ruggedness. Submachine guns transformed close-range combat. The German MP-40, with its low recoil and foldable stock, became the signature weapon of mechanized units and paratroopers. The Soviet PPSH-41 was one of the most feared weapons on the Eastern Front, capable of firing up to 1,000 rounds per minute and equipped with 71-round drum magazines. It dominated urban warfare, especially in battles like Stalingrad. The American Thompson submachine gun, known for its .45 ACP stopping power, earned respect in both Europe and the Pacific. Later, the cheaper and simpler M3 grease gun provided a practical alternative usable by armor crews and infantry alike. Machine guns delivered overwhelming firepower. Germany's MJ-34 was the first true general-purpose machine gun, capable of serving as both a light and heavy support weapon. Its successor, the MG-42, featured a terrifyingly high rate of fire, around 200 rounds per minute, giving it a distinct, ripping sound that Allied troops described as the buzzsaw of death. The United States relied on the Browning M1919 for infantry support and the .50 caliber M2 Browning for anti-aircraft, anti-vehicle, and long-range suppression. Soviet forces employed the DP-28, recognizable by its large pan-shaped magazine mounted on top. Pistols, though secondary, had iconic roles. American officers and tank crews used the .45 ACP M1911, admired for its power and reliability. Germany fielded the elegant Luger P08 early on, later replaced by the more practical Walther P38. Soviet officers carried the TT-33 Tokarev, a robust and simple design, while British forces used revolvers, such as the Enfield No. 2. Grenades added explosive chaos to infantry combat. The German Model 24 stick grenade, with its wooden handle, allowed for longer and more accurate throws. Its design prioritized blast over fragmentation, making it extremely effective in enclosed spaces like bunkers and trenches. The American Mk2 fragmentation grenade, nicknamed the Pineapple, delivered deadly shrapnel ideal for clearing rooms and trenches. The British No. 36M Mills bomb was one of the most trusted grenade designs, featuring a grooved exterior for consistent fragmentation. Soviet forces used a variety of grenades, including the RGD-33 and the later RG-42, both optimized for mass production. Anti-tank weapons evolved rapidly as armor improved. Germany introduced the Panzerfaust, a disposable, recoilless launcher capable of destroying even advanced Allied tanks with a single shot. The Panzerschreck, a larger reusable launcher, became another powerful infantry anti-tank tool. The United States fielded the M1 bazooka, a lightweight rocket launcher used effectively against armored vehicles and fortifications. Early in the war, the Soviets relied on anti-tank rifles like the PTRD and PTRS, which were effective against light armor, but gradually became obsolete. Shotguns played crucial roles in jungle environments. U.S. Marines used pump-action trench shotguns during Pacific Island campaigns, where dense vegetation and close-range ambushes made shotguns incredibly effective. Flamethrowers, though dangerous to their operators, were essential for clearing bunkers, caves, and fortified positions, especially during the island-hopping campaigns against Japan. Artillery was the true giant of destruction, responsible for the majority of wartime casualties. Field guns, mortars, rocket launchers, and howitzers allowed armies to destroy defensive lines, cities, and troop concentrations from miles away. Tanks also evolved dramatically during the war, becoming mobile platforms for increasingly powerful cannons. From the quiet precision of stiletto knives to the thunderous roar of machine guns and artillery, the weapons of World War II shaped not only the battles fought, but the future of global warfare. Each weapon, simple or advanced, crude or elegant, played a role in determining the outcome of a conflict that forever changed the world. If you want to understand World War II, don't start with the generals. Start with the weapons, because the weapons tell the truth about power, fear, innovation, and the brutal reality of a world at war. These were the tools that shaped history, forged in factories, carried by soldiers, and remembered long after the smoke faded. World War II was a conflict fought not only by millions of men, but by the machines they carried into battle. From cold steel blades to roaring machine guns, from simple trench shovels to armor-piercing rockets, the war became a vast laboratory where technology advanced at a terrifying speed. Every front, every battlefield, every nation had its own philosophy of killing and its own weapon to enforce it. Knives were among the most intimate weapons of the war. The American M3 trench knife, introduced in 1943, was a straightforward tool designed for one purpose: close quarters combat. Its double-edged steel blade reflected the brutal reality of night raids, trench fights, and narrow city streets where soldiers met face to face. The British Fairbairn-Sykes fighting knife took that concept even further. Designed by two veterans of Shanghai's violent police forces, it became the iconic dagger of British commandos, a silent, elegant weapon crafted for infiltration, sabotage, and the deadly work of special operations. German paratroopers carried the Fallschirmjäger gravity knife, originally intended to free paratroopers from tangled parachutes, but soon adopted as an all-purpose combat blade. Soviet soldiers often had to rely on rugged field-made knives or repurposed utility tools, the harsh reality of a country fighting for survival. In the Pacific, Japanese officers carried the Type 95 Gunto, a simplified military version of the samurai sword. While mass-produced, it carried deep cultural symbolism, linking modern warfare with centuries-old warrior tradition. Melee combat never disappeared from the Second World War. Entrenching tools, simple folding shovels, became improvised weapons in the desperate hand-to-hand battles of the Eastern Front. Bayonets remained standard issue across all armies. Japanese soldiers, trained extensively in bayonet combat, mounted long, intimidating blades onto their Arisaka rifles, turning every close encounter into a brutal struggle shaped by Bushido ideals. Yet the true power of World War II came from firearms. The rifle remained the basic instrument of the infantry soldier, but technology varied dramatically between nations. The United States fielded the M1 Garand, one of the most advanced rifles of the war. Semi-automatic and reliable, it allowed American soldiers to fire rapidly without the slow cycling of a bolt. This gave U.S. troops a significant advantage in firefights. Germany, meanwhile, relied on the Karabiner 98K, a bolt-action rifle of exceptional accuracy and durability. It served everywhere, from the sands of North Africa to the ruins of Berlin. Britain's Lee Enfield No. 4 was equally respected. Its fast action allowed trained soldiers to unleash astonishing minute volleys, filling the air with a storm of bullets. The Soviet Mosin Nagant, though crude and old-fashioned, earned a reputation for unmatched toughness, continuing to function in snow, mud, and the freezing temperatures of the Eastern Front. Submachine guns redefined close-quarters warfare. The German MP-40, with its low recoil and compact folding stock, became the trademark weapon of mechanized troops and paratroopers. The Soviet PPSH-41, one of the most mass-produced submachine guns in history, dominated urban battlefields. Its extremely high rate of fire and 71-round drum magazine made it devastating in the chaotic point-blank fighting of Stalingrad. American forces relied on the Thompson, a heavy but powerful weapon famous for its .45 caliber punch. Later, The lighter M3 grease gun provided American soldiers with a simple, inexpensive, and reliable alternative. Machine guns unleashed the industrial power of the war. Germany's MG-34 introduced the concept of the general-purpose machine gun, capable of being used in multiple battlefield roles. Its successor, the MG-42, was feared across the front. Firing up to WWII 200 rounds per minute, it produced a terrifying ripping sound that Allied soldiers compared to a buzzsaw. The Browning M1919 served as the primary U.S. infantry machine gun, while the 50 caliber M2 Browning, powerful enough to tear through vehicles and aircraft, became one of the most iconic heavy machine guns ever built. The Soviets used the DP-28, recognizable by its distinctive top-mounted pan magazine, providing reliable, suppressive fire, even in the harshest winter conditions. Sidearms played a smaller but symbolic role. American officers carried the M1911, renowned for its stopping power. Germany fielded the elegant Luger P-08 early in the war, before shifting to the more practical Walther P-38. Soviet officers used the Tokarev TT-33, while British forces carried revolvers like the Enfield No. 2, simple rugged tools for close encounters. Grenades added explosive chaos to infantry combat. The German Model 24 stick grenade, with its wooden handle, allowed for long, accurate throws, and was designed for blast rather than fragmentation, perfect for clearing trenches and bunkers. The American Mk2 pineapple grenade, with its segmented metal body, produced deadly shrapnel ideal for open field engagements. Britain relied on the Mills bomb, whose design was refined over decades. The Soviets, often focused on mass production, used simple but effective grenades like the RG-42. Anti-tank weapons evolved rapidly as armor technology changed. Germany's Panzerfaust, a disposable rocket launcher, allowed a single infantryman to destroy even the most advanced Allied tanks at close range. The larger Panzerschreck served as a reusable launcher with formidable armor-piercing capability. In response, American forces used the M1 bazooka, a portable rocket launcher effective against tanks and fortifications. Early Soviet anti-tank rifles, such as the PTRD and PTRS, worked well against light armor, but soon became obsolete as enemy tanks became heavier and better protected. Specialized weapons also shaped the war. In the Pacific, U.S. Marines relied heavily on pump-action shotguns during jungle fighting, where close-range firepower was essential. Flamethrowers, though incredibly dangerous to operate, proved indispensable for clearing caves, bunkers, and fortified positions, especially against Japanese forces entrenched in island defenses. Ultimately, no weapon matched the destructive power of artillery. Mortars, rocket launchers, field guns, and heavy howitzers shattered defensive lines, leveled cities, and caused the majority of casualties during the war. Tanks, equipped with increasingly powerful cannons, became symbols of armored dominance, turning battlefields into mechanized arenas of fire and steel. In the end, every weapon, from the smallest knife to the heaviest artillery piece, contributed to the outcome of World War II. Together they tell a story not only of technological progress, but of human determination, fear, and brutality. The weapons of World War II were not just tools of war. They were the instruments that shaped the world we live in today.